Busted. Hi, you're watching IndiaPostLive.com, and I'm Shivraj. And of course, we're discussing this very interesting phenomenon, this simple, brightly colored game that's become quite a catch, Candy Crush Saga. And you can also join in on the conversation by logging on to IndiaPostLive.com, or you can also join us on Twitter, hashtag IndiaPostLive. And clearly, Candy Crush is become somewhat of a craze, and as you can see, it's about getting to the next level by aligning different colored candies together. So why is Candy Crush becoming such a huge phenomenon? Let's take a look.
Candy Crush is the latest in the long line of games which has the distinction of a minute to learn but a lifetime to master. Previous examples include Angry Birds, Tetris and more. But then, why is Candy Crush such an addiction? The idea here is that Candy Crush gives the players an immediate sense of accomplishment, but with 544 levels and a new one added every week, overall mastery of the game is next to impossible, and hence people keep coming back for more. After you have used all your lives, Candy Crush does not allow you to play for the next 24 hours, and that adds up to the game's appeal. Yes, it is like the forbidden fruit. You want it even more when you are denied access. And of course, why not? The game developer has you hooked in a way that you are addicted. While most games require you to play with both hands, which means you can't do anything else, but Candy Crush lets you multitask. You can eat while you play, talk on the phone, and even attend meetings without paying attention. And the simple funda which drives this crazy crush is that it feels great to win, and all this is for free. Looks like the Candy Crush saga is here to stay, at least for now.
So why are people so crazy about Candy Crush? Joining us in studio in this conversation is Pradeep Sawant, who's the not technical head of Aptech Mac, which is an animation and gaming company. And you know, Pradeep, and an education company. Now, clearly Candy Crush is become somewhat of everyday, habit with people. Give us a sense from a business and a game creator perspective, why it's become so big.
Okay, yeah, the thing is that, see, lot many games are there. Like a Candy Crush, Farm Villa was there first. It was an awesome game. But Candy Crush is like that, ki all other games are having a endless, you can play endless, okay? But the strategic is like that, you will get only 5 lives. Thereafter, you have to stay for 30 minutes. Thereafter, the game will again start. You can join the games. Second thing is candy. Candy is itself is a sweet element, okay? You can eat that, and that is a catchy. And that candy has different color. It is a colorful catchy. Third is very important, is like that, Candy Crush is a strategic game basically. So slowly, gradually, your brain required to think how to solve that puzzles, okay? And fourth, very important, is like that, it is a free of cost, okay? And slowly, gradually, you can upgrade your levels. It is like an addiction like that. Okay?
Absolutely. So the next question was, why is it so addictive? Because clearly, and a lot of gamers are calling it something called the sawtooth tuning, which is where they interplay an easy level with a tough level. Yeah. And so it means that people win first, but to get to the next level, they have to even sometimes pay to be able to play those extra moves.
Right,
so from a king.com, that's the maker's perspective, it's clearly a win-win.
Yeah. But like, see, if you see Kings.com, they started this in the year 2012, okay? And the first mobile application for Candy Crush, they started in November 2012, okay? Thereafter, basically, they generate threads from the Facebook, basically. All the Facebook users turn into the mobile game users, okay? Slowly, gradually, today, if you see the today's number, they have 14 crore 400 followers. Out of these, 60% are free of cost users.
So the 40% is monetized.
Yeah,
so
monetized.
Give us a sense of how much money that is.
Yeah, per day, Kings.com, from these special games, from this only one game, they are getting around US dollar 8.83 crores per day collection. So it is a huge amount of money. That is the thing. Okay. Now, why people or why users are paying? Basically, because it is addiction. Okay. Always we, as a human tendency, we want to win. Okay, slowly, gradually, I won last series of that game. Now I want to win more series.
Okay.
So that
on,
is a crush basically.
That's very interesting because on that note, we will go to our Skype caller, Anita
Yeah.
Raja, who's joining in from Kerala, who's a clinical psychologist. Now, Anita, we were discussing Candy Crush Saga, which is an online game that's gone to your mobile apps. And it's interesting because it's not just a game for kids, but adults seem to be getting addicted to it. How do you explain that phenomenon?
I think any game that is popular, has mass appeal, has certain basic features. One, it is simple, it's easy to understand, and doesn't have too many complicated rules. So I think if you look at the fact that more and more users are getting into Facebook and other networking sites, it's not very surprising that games which are popular on these sites are also downloaded and played by these people. The other aspect, I think, is also, as mentioned earlier, this thing of self-competition. I mean, here you have a situation where you're actually competing with your own levels. It's not a competition with somebody else. So there is a sense of achievement when you reach a particular level, and then you kind of go, so it kind of pushes you on to the next level if possible. So there is a kind of sense of achievement which I think most of us would like to reach at some point or the other.
And also the other element, Anita, is that, Candy Crush Saga is somewhat of a social game. It uses social pressure because you're connected via Facebook and you're forever reaching out to people in your network. So would you say that that's a very clever tool that the makers of Candy Crush have leveraged?
I have, yes, I think so. Because whatever, anything to succeed, if you look at the ingredients for that success, it's just the fact that it taps into what people need. So in this case, I think what people have needed is the need to network. So if you're having a game which includes networking, I think it's a double kind of a celebration, because one, you're kind of reaching out to people, you've already formed a group, plus you're doing something which gives you a sense of achievement. So why wouldn't it succeed?
So without being a bit of a killjoy, I just want to sort of highlight that there are also people on social networks who've actually posted very overt comments like, can you please not send me Candy Crush requests? Is it also somewhat of an antisocial thing? I mean, just living on social media and only playing the game and forcing people to sign on?
That's a very interesting question. Then we are coming into the area of social networking itself. It's not just Candy Crush. So I'm beginning to think that we are becoming less socialized than before. We are actually becoming very, very asocial people. If you look at conversations, if you look at any group of people who get together, one of the first things you do is we open our mobiles and check for something or the other. It doesn't matter what messages are there. So it's become really an intrusive kind of a phenomenon. And I think we are beginning to draw some lines there. When you go to a temple or a funeral or any other situation, people are still playing on their thing. So I think there's a detachment and asocialization actually taking place, even though it's called a social networking site.
So thank you so much, Anita. From a technology point of view, it's clearly a win-win for King.com, the makers of Candy Crush, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
In the sense that not only are they leveraging social media, but they're offering people the option of going offline on their mobiles and still jumping on.
Yeah.
And from a point of view of Zynga.com, Farmville,
yes.
They managed, but then they somehow fell off the map. Do you see that happening with Candy Crush, or is it becoming bigger?
No, it's becoming bigger. The thing is that, see, Candy Crush is having a long history of gaming. The company initiated in the year 2003. Okay, and they have a huge background of gaming development. Okay, after a long year research, they started this kind of game. Earlier, before Candy Crush, it was lot many different social media games was there, but the Candy Crush is having good amount of entertainment factor in that games basically, and you can log in or you can download this game free of cost and forever. Okay, you can play the entire game series of game free of cost. That is a crush. If you want to try critical, you can say levels, then only you have to pay. That is the things only. Slowly, gradually, people start sharing or putting money. I'm telling about how much money every day people are using. Basically, I said earlier, $8.83 US is a collection. Okay, 14 crore 40,000 users are there. Only 40% are paying. Means 5 crore 300 users are paying. Every day, 0.001 rupee is a individual user's contribution towards this game. So it is a less amount of money basically.
And they're constantly every 2 weeks reinventing themselves.
Every day, that is the craze. That's why every day their income is going up.
Okay, so we got an interesting tweet, Anita, on Twitter, where someone made a comment, Candy Crush makes you happy. But what sort of happiness is this?
I don't know. I mean, it's really each person's definition of happiness. But like I said, the sense of achievement can give you happiness. It's also, let's say, for example, people are getting together. So the networking itself can give you happiness. So I'm not against the positives of any kind of game. But I think where the concern comes in is also because the addiction or the amount of other activities which are disrupted because of your involvement in this game.
In fact, that's my next question, because I've heard of stories where people have actually woken up in the middle of the night and they realize that they've reached, so like for instance, I'm stuck on level 125 and I'm really frustrated. And I know of people who've woken up in the middle of the night and wanted to beat that level. Is that healthy?
It's a tough question because, see, at a young age, if you have nothing else to do and you have plenty of free time, why not? But let's say you have a college assignment to finish, or you have to go out somewhere, and you kind of keep all those things aside, those priorities aside, and just give time and energy and just focus on this activity. Then I think, yes, it's unhealthy.
All right. Thank you so much, Anita. So, Pradeep, that's the whole thing that King.com is tapping into, right? Yes. That addiction, that requirement to beat the level. Yes. From a gaming and animation point of view, how important is it to constantly redevelop the technology and constantly listen to the end user and come back and create some new challenges?
Yeah, right. King's Digital Entertainment is the full name of the company. Every quarter, they used to collect data from the users. Okay, every quarter they used to collect the data from the users, and slowly, gradually, they used to develop the next level. Okay, this company is having a lot. They are having a game development team over there. They constantly work on the next level so that users will definitely get every week. They should get new level basically to get entertained themselves. Okay, that is the crush basically, and they are basically using entire manpower to develop the Candy Crush game. Now Candy Crush Madness is a new version. Is there. Candy Crush Sega Madness. They launched Sega on the Facebook, and for mobile application, they launched Candy Crush. This is basically madness. So it is sort of madness. People are mad to beat their own level basically. That is the crush basically.
So Anita, before we let you go, and thank you so much for joining us, but do you know anyone in your network who actually plays the game?
I don't know. I don't play the game myself. So.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us from Kerala on this issue. Thank you. So I think that's a very clever strategy, because now we hear that King.com is going in for an IPO.
Yeah, IPO.
Right?
Yeah.
What are industry insiders saying is going to be the likelihood of being successful?
Yeah, it is a BC IPO. Last month they decided basically to start. It is like a public issue, and the starting selling point is a $29.9 US. It is a good amount basically, and it is anybody might be, if I am living in India, I can buy the IPO. Okay, so it is open for all, and I'm a good user of a Candy Crush game, so I can buy online. So this kind of strategy they are using, and out of this they will earn. They will put basically they collect around US dollar 7 million. Wow. 7 billion US dollar.
7 billion
US dollar they will collect. So this is huge. It is like a huge industry. Only single game. Okay, Kings.com is earning from the single game 7 billion US dollar.
On that note, let's just get a sense of just how much that addiction is caught on. $7 billion. Let's see what people on the street have to say about Candy Crush.
Actually, this game is for everyone, from a player from an age group of class 10 to 45. Everyone can play it and everyone enjoys it. I see in Metro many people of age 45, 47, they play and they enjoy. And it's very common actually, and it's very easy to play.
It's basically giving a less productivity Even our boss is also telling us, scolding us why you are playing Candy Crush.
That should not be in your mobile phones.
So
Even
what's the highest level of level that you've reached in the game?
167.
I have cleared like 99 levels in it. There is no age limit to play this game. Anyone can play this game. Even at my home, my mom, my father always used to play this game at night after having the dinner.
Big fan of Candy Crush Saga because it's the coolest game on earth at this point of time, because it's colorful, it's trendy, and Ranbir Kapoor plays the game as well, so that is why I like the game. And otherwise it's cool, man. Like, it's not like the Temple Run or any other Rail Rush. We have to run, we have to jump the person there, here and there, and take the points. You just remove the candies here and there and you get the point. So that's why it's very cool. And you just have the 5 lives, so you play it till the extent that 5 lives are there, they'll get over and I'll play. So that's why that's cool.
So you can clearly see the excitement in the eyes of all those people who play Candy Crush and are pretty much hooked on to the game. Joining us via Skype is Dr. Sanjay Malhotra, the head of mental health at Max Hospital here. Dr. Malhotra, how do you explain the phenomenon of a game like Candy Crush taking such a hold on public consciousness to the extent that people have become almost asocial, where they get into a room and then they just go into their mobiles and start playing these games?
Just teach of factors that move behind any kind of addiction that a person gets into. One is
All right, we seem to be having a bit of a technical difficulty getting through to Dr. Malhotra, but coming back to you, Pradeep, you've seen people now talk about it. So clearly the $7 billion is an assured sum that King.com will get. But what next? Because, we've seen a 2-year spike in Farm Bill, then they brought in new elements. Yeah. Are you hopeful that a game like Candy Crush, which is now a phenomenon, will sustain itself?
Yeah, definitely. Because I said you, they have strong this is called game development team basically, and every quarter they used to collect data from the user. Okay, what kind of level they want to play basically, and slowly, gradually they are developing good amount of levels basically. So it has a future basically. It has a future, and slowly, gradually they will put more efforts and they will create different kind of levels, and that will definitely help company to long last the game basically. That is the question.
No, and apart from a business perspective, I think social gaming is also now becoming a social phenomenon. So while we have clinical psychologists saying that somewhere it's taking away from normal social interaction, it is also, like you said, the IPO is going to be open globally, right? It's also somehow connecting people across. So when I play my game, I also manage to still connect with someone living halfway across the world who I might have socially met years ago.
That is it. See, basically this is a social
So they're taking to the next level.
Yeah, they are taking to the next level, and this is basically social networking game. If I want to play next level immediately, the game has a 5 lives. After 5 lives, for 30 minutes it gets stuck. Okay, it gets closed. But if I want to play 6 lives, okay, immediately I have to pass the particular code to my social network friend. Then only I will get a chance to play 6 level. So slowly, gradually, they are basically improving or increasing their users level. Now today they have 14 crores users. If you see, tomorrow might be it will reach every hour or every minute one single user is adding. So that is a basically you can say madness of the games.
Okay. Dr. Sameer Malhotra, thank you for joining us from Max Healthcare. We were asking a question earlier, but I think we had a technical difficulty. What do you make of social games like Candy Crush Saga, sort of turning people into sort of mobile geeks and not really socializing amongst themselves?
I think there are 3 levels I would like to look into it. One is the biological level. Okay. And when we talk about the biological level, there are certain reward pathways in the brain which get activated when a person is playing something which is enjoyable and subsequently scoring certain points. Kind of kick that a person gets is because of the dopamine rush in those reward pathways in the brain. And that leads to a bit of addiction, so that the person then feels need to play it more and more often than not. The second is a social angle to it, wherein you tend to get connected with your friends and you have a topic to discuss that this is what you enjoy doing, and that's in the.
Okay, we seem to be having technical difficulties. It's a very interesting tweet that's just come in. Play anywhere, train plane while a girlfriend is blabbering, ha ha ha, Candy Crush. So clearly, it is also a means of escape for a lot of people.
Yeah. See, as I said, it is like an addiction. Okay, all over India, all
But
over.
a good
world.
addiction or bad addiction?
It is what I feel. I'm a game lover. It is a good addiction for me actually. Okay, and as a social network person, I used to send requests for this game to others. So I'm a game lover. It is a good addiction for me actually. So and I'm ready to pay for this game, because every day if I want to pay, okay, I can spend 1 rupees every day. Okay, so it is not a good amount of investment. It is a very small amount of investment, and I'm getting joy. That is the things. So for the sake of joyness, I can pay 1 rupees every day. Okay, and okay, whatever company is earning $1 billion, okay, rupees, but for my self satisfaction, I can pay 1 rupees. So that is the thing. So, and a lot many users are there. They can think like me. So and if you see in India, every minute you can find out. Okay, single game lover is basically adding to this side basically. Okay.
So even as we're speaking, I get a request on Candy Crush from Puneet Singh, who I know lives in Sydney. Okay. So it's a game that is a leveler despite time zones and geographies, isn't it? And isn't that what is being tapped into by the makers of the game? The fact that that geographical boundaries and distance just don't matter anymore.
Yeah, that is the thing. That is the goodness of this game basically. They need game lovers. I am a game lovers in spite of I can be Asian, I can be a European, or I can be a Austrian. So there is no boundary. Anybody can play this game. Okay. And for the self satisfaction or for joyness, I can pay, okay, for this. And initially, I don't want to pay. Okay, it is a free of cost. But if I want more joy. I want to compete or beat a next level. I have to pay little bit, and that like 1 rupees per day I have to spend.
Okay, so we do have Dr. Sameer Malhotra. And sorry, Dr. Sameer Malhotra, we keep getting disconnected, but I think you were answering the question of why is Candy Crush Saga so enticing?
They are, because see, one, there's this instant connect of an individual with such games. The second thing is it is a, like the other person was just saying, that irrespective of the language, irrespective of your caste, creed, whichever place you belong to, you tend to get connected to such games. Plus, you start scoring certain points, so it gives you an intellectual kind of fodder at the same time, and you feel that you're capable to achieve.
All right, I think we seem to still be having a break in connectivity, but I think what Dr. Sameer Malhotra was driving home is that there is a clinical explanation as well, right? There are pathways to make you happy, right? Are there in companies, gaming companies like yourselves and King.com, people who are actually also studying human behavior?
Yeah. Basically, see, before developing, or it is like a game development. Okay. Game development and game.
So what is the process? It'd be very interesting to understand.
Yeah. The process is like that. See, there are different departments are there. It is a pre-production where we have to plan the game. Okay, plan the game in the sense there are different genres of the game. Like if few games are like a shoot game. Okay. First level shoot game.
Right.
It's like an action game.
Yes.
This is not an action game. This is a social media network game basically. Simple, strategic. It has a strategy, but everybody from third year, okay, one kid can play basically till 60 years. So this game doesn't have age limit. Okay, simple game. Few games you can find out ki okay, I want to create one good game, so my gameplay should be perfect. Okay, so gameplay, pre-production part, then game designing. Okay, like in Candy Crush, the candy is a character.
Right.
Okay, and different color candies are there.
And they also put some power on things where two powered candies come together, they become a bigger play.
That is the crux. Okay, and slowly, gradually, I like candy, you like candy, everybody like candy. Okay, that's why it is a more popular. Okay. Third is a development of the levels. So for level development, lot many game testers are there. Okay, freelancers are there. They used to test this game and they used to put their own input to develop next level. So this is basically entire
production. So a lot of investment behind the scenes is going into trying to find that enticing, happy quotient.
Yes, right. You are right, because this is basically not a single person's brain. Basically, they have huge team where few people are there. They are just thinking on the gameplay. Okay, the gameplay should be perfect. Then only the success of the game is depend on the gameplay. Gameplay, this is entertainment level
and
involved
it's interesting
in that game.
Because the gameplay with respect to Candy Crush isn't about a certain age demographic. I know people over 50 who are hooked onto it as well.
3-year kid. My kid is very much, he's fond of this game basically. He know, because it's very easy. You have to put right candies, okay? Bunch of the candies, you will get the point. So it doesn't require, it doesn't.
It's gone down to that elementary level, yet it becomes intellectually stimulating.
Slowly, gradually, Next level will definitely harder than the previous one. So slowly, gradually, your enjoyment level will definitely go up because of that. So that is the basically things, and they managed to do the gameplay is very perfect. Okay, development is perfect, and level development is perfect. So Kings.com managed to give a perfect package to the world.
And I believe that King.com, while of course Facebook is their most obvious face, they're also jumping onto other social media platforms across Asia as well, because they realize that Asia is where the numbers are.
Yeah, Asia is one of the biggest market for not only for gamers, okay, for movies, okay, for animation movies and all. So slowly, gradually, lot many consoles are there basically. Mobile is one console, okay. Facebook is another console, okay. What do you call this? Computer is one of the console, okay. Xbox, PlayStation is another console. So they are going to develop games for these consoles actually, so that they will get more money out of this. So that is the main.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for explaining the phenomenon, because I think a lot of people get a little irked when we send them requests for Candy Crush. But thank you very much for joining us in studio and joining in this conversation on India Post Live. You can continue sharing your comments on the website on indiapostlive.com. You can also tweet us using hashtag India Post Live. Thank you for joining in the conversation, and I'm sure Candy Crush is not going anywhere. Thank you.